burns more fuel, hesitates when you accelerate, or randomly throws a check engine light, I want you to listen carefully. Your engine might be perfectly healthy. Your transmission might be fine, and you might be one dirty sensor away from a $2,000 misdiagnosis. I've seen engines torn apart, injectors replaced, and transmissions blamed, when the real problem was a $50 sensor that nobody ever cleaned. Worse than that, most drivers make it fail faster without realizing it. Today I'll show you the car sensor that fails more than any other. Why manufacturers expect it to be cleaned, but never say it clearly. How it quietly ruins fuel economy, power, and engine life. And the one cleaning mistake that permanently kills it. Stay until the end, because the final detail explains why so many shops replace this sensor instead of fixing it, and why drivers keep paying for it. Why modern cars depend on sensors more than engines. Let's start with a reality check. Modern cars don't run on fuel and air alone. They run on data. Your engine control unit doesn't guess. It calculates everything using sensors: fuel delivery, ignition timing, transmission shifting, emissions control. And one sensor sits at the center of all of it. When it lies, everything else goes wrong. The sensor that fails the most, the mass airflow sensor, MAF. Let's name it. The mass airflow sensor, or MAF, is the most failure-prone sensor in modern vehicles. Not because it's poorly designed, but because of where it lives and what it measures. The MAF sensor sits directly in the intake airstream, usually right after the air filter. Its job is simple, but critical. Measure exactly how much air is entering the engine. From that number, the ECU decides how much fuel to inject, how fast to shift, how much ignition advance to allow. If the MAF data is wrong, everything downstream is wrong. Why the MAF sensor fails so often. Here's what most drivers don't realize. The MAF sensor is exposed to all incoming air, constantly heated, extremely sensitive. Inside the sensor is a tiny heated wire or film element. That element must stay perfectly clean. Even a thin layer of contamination can skew airflow readings, cause lean or rich conditions, confuse the ECU, and guess what contaminates it? The silent killers of the MAF sensor. This is where the damage really starts. 1. Oil from oiled air filters. High-flow oiled filters are one of the biggest MAF killers. Excess oil mist coats the sensor element, insulates it from airflow, causes false readings. The engine still runs, but badly. 2. Dirt bypassing cheap air filters. Low quality or improperly sealed air filters allow fine dust, road debris, pollen. That debris sticks to the hot sensor wire. 3. Oil vapor from the PCV system. Even with a factory air filter, oil vapor from the crankcase ventilation system slowly coats the sensor. This happens on every engine. The only difference is how long it takes. What a dirty MAF sensor actually does to your car. Here's why this sensor causes so much chaos. A dirty MAF doesn't usually fail completely. It fails gradually. That's what makes it dangerous. Common symptoms include sluggish acceleration, poor fuel economy, rough idle, hesitation at light throttle, hard starts, random stalling, and the check engine light. It may come and go, never appear at all. So drivers chase ghosts. Why this turns into expensive repairs. Here's where psychology comes in. When a car feels weak, shifts oddly, burns more fuel, drivers and shops assume fuel system problem, transmission issue, engine wear. I've seen throttle bodies replaced, fuel injectors cleaned, oxygen sensors changed, transmission software updates sold, when all that was needed was a $10 can of cleaner and 10 minutes. Quick question for you. Have you ever replaced parts trying to fix a hesitation or MPG issue? Comment YES or NO. Why the ECU gets confused and makes everything worse. The ECU trusts the MAF sensor. When airflow data is wrong, the ECU adjusts fuel trims, changes ignition timing, alters transmission behavior. Over time, it learns bad data. That's why symptoms often get worse gradually, come back after repairs, disappear temporarily. The car isn't broken, it's being lied to. Why many shops replace the MAF instead of cleaning it. This part matters. Cleaning a MAF sensor takes time, requires care, doesn't guarantee instant results. Replacing it is fast, is profitable, looks professional. But here's the truth. Most MAF sensors are not dead. They're just dirty. Replacing a dirty sensor without fixing the cause, new sensor gets contaminated again. Problem returns. Customer pays twice. The one cleaning mistake that kills the MAF instantly. This is critical. Never touch the MAF sensor element. Not with fingers, cotton swabs, brushes, compressed air. The element is fragile. One touch can break it, scratch it, ruin calibration. I've seen brand new sensors destroyed during cleaning. If that happens, replacement is the only option. What manufacturers quietly recommend, but don't emphasize. Most service manuals don't scream this, but it's there. Manufacturers expect periodic intake inspection, proper air filter sealing, sensor contamination management. They assume OEM air filters, no over-oiled filters, normal driving conditions. Once reality doesn't match that assumption, the sensor suffers. Why this sensor fails more now than 20 years ago. Modern engines pull more air, run tighter tolerances, rely more heavily on sensor accuracy. Small errors that didn't matter in older cars now cause drivability issues, emissions failures, MPG loss. That's why this problem is more common today. The only safe way to clean this sensor, step by step. Now let's talk about what actually works. The method longtime mechanics use on their own cars, not what gets rushed at shops. If you remember nothing else from this video, remember this. Cleaning a MAF sensor is about restraint, not aggression. Step 1. Disconnect the battery. Optional but smart. This isn't required on all cars, but it prevents accidental shorts, ECU confusion during cleaning. It also forces the ECU to relearn airflow once the sensor is clean. Step 2. Remove the MAF sensor carefully. Unplug the electrical connector. Remove the mounting screws. Gently pull the sensor straight out. Do not twist it. Do not drop it. This sensor is more fragile than it looks. Step 3. Use the right cleaner. Nothing else. This is where most people destroy the sensor. You must use MAF sensor cleaner only. Not brake cleaner, carb cleaner, throttle body cleaner, compressed air. Those products are too aggressive and leave residue. MAF cleaner evaporates cleanly and safely. Step 4. Do not touch the sensor element. This deserves repeating. Inside the MAF is a tiny heated wire or a thin film sensor. If you touch it, calibration is ruined. The sensor is permanently damaged. Cleaning means spraying only. Hold the can several inches away and let the cleaner do the work. No wiping, no brushing, no shaking debris loose. Step 5. Let it air dry completely. This is critical. Do not reinstall it wet. Do not use heat. Do not rush. Give it at least 10 minutes. Reinstalling too early can short the sensor internally. Step 6. Reinstall and let the ECU relearn. Once reinstalled, start the engine. Let it idle for a few minutes. Drive gently at first. The ECU will adjust fuel trims based on the new accurate airflow data. This is when many drivers feel smoother idle, better throttle response, improved MPG, sometimes immediately. How often this sensor should be cleaned. This is the part manufacturers don't clearly state. General guideline. Every 30,000 to 50,000 miles. More often if you use oiled air filters. Drive in dusty conditions. Do mostly city driving. Cleaning it too often isn't helpful. Ignoring it entirely is expensive. How to tell if cleaning is enough or if it's already dead. Here's the honest truth. Cleaning works if no permanent fault codes remain. Engine behavior improves. Fuel trims return closer to normal. Cleaning won't fix internal electrical failure, broken sensor elements, water intrusion damage. If cleaning does nothing, replacement may actually be necessary. But clean first, always. The one habit that makes this sensor fail again. This is the cycle most drivers never break. Overoiled aftermarket air filters. Even when installed correctly, they release oil mist. Slowly coat the sensor. Undo your cleaning work. Many professional mechanics avoid them entirely on modern engines. Paper filters protect sensors better. Period. Why cleaning this sensor feels like magic? Because it fixes data, not parts. When airflow data is corrected, fuel delivery normalizes, ignition timing stabilizes, transmission behavior improves, emission systems calm down. One clean sensor can fix hesitation, poor MPG, rough idle, random drivability issues. That's why this sensor gets blamed for so many unrelated problems. The real money-saving truth. Replacing parts before cleaning this sensor is backwards. I've seen $800 throttle bodies replaced, $1,200 oxygen sensors installed, $3,000 transmissions blamed, all because the ECU was working with bad airflow data. A dirty MAF sensor can make a healthy engine look broken. Why shops don't emphasize this? Because cleaning doesn't pay much. Replacement is faster. Customers expect new parts. But experienced mechanics know, clean first, replace last. Final reality check. The MAF sensor doesn't fail because it's weak. It fails because it's ignored. It's contaminated. It's misunderstood. Drivers who clean it save money, avoid misdiagnosis, restore performance. Drivers who don't replace parts they never needed. Be honest. Have you ever cleaned your MAF sensor before today? Yes. Number. I didn't even know this existed. Comment below. Your answer might help another driver avoid a costly mistake. If this video helped you, share it with someone chasing a check engine light right now.